Hey guys, it's Quinn, and today we're going to take a look at perhaps the most polarizing film in the series since Thunderball 1983's Octopussy. After an extremely bizarre film in the form of Moonraker, followed up by a way too serious outing in For Your Eyes Only, which you can check out the reviews of both on my channel, the Bond producers decided to go back to what makes Roger Moore such a popular Bond actor, a campy film combined with an overly complicated plot. And Octopussy, more than any other Moore film in my opinion, demonstrates that. Because of that, though, people who watch Octopussy usually have one of two opinions. Either they find it very funny and a good time, or just a complete mess of a film. Well, let's find out which one it is as we look at the last memorable Roger Moore Bond film, Octopussy. After an average gun barrel, we cut to Bond in Cuba impersonating a colonel by the name of Toro, where Bond is more or less going to blow up an aircraft area. We then get one of the best pre-title sequences in the series, which I've talked about so many times that I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you could argue, and I think very well, that this is probably the best part of the film and one of the best pre-title sequences in the series. Anyways, after a great plane chase, we get what I think is probably the most underrated theme song in this series, for sure, at least up to this point in the series, combined with arguably the most bizarre title sequence before we are off into the film. Just get prepared, folks, though, because the film just gets stranger as the film goes on. This is what I mean by strange. In my time, I've said these words before, but now I realize. Hold on tight. God, why do I do this to myself? We cut to Eastern Berlin, where a clown is being chased by two assassins with knives. What I do want to note here, and this is true for the entire film, is that the musical score here is just fantastic, and besides a few in the 60s and later in the series, it is one of the best in the series. But anywho, the clown is killed, but not before returning a crystal egg to a British embassy in presumably Western Germany. It's all a great scene because not only is it good action, but I love how it combines music with silence to make the entire scene really creepy.
Well, I must say you become more beautiful every day.
I am over here.
Well, of course you are.
After a great little scene with Moneypenny, we find out that the egg was a fake Fabergé egg, a really valuable egg that is up for auction. So Bond decides to go to investigate who is selling it, which they believe is a Russian. We then meet General Orlov, the greatest overactor in the entire series, who basically proposes to his fellow Soviet generals a plan to blitzkrieg Western Europe. His comrades basically bitch slap him as, out of his mind when he gets a notice that he needs to meet up with someone who later turns out to be a man who works in the Kremlin Jewelry Reserve. The general meets up with the knife assassins there, where they're informed that they need to get a new Fabergé egg, so they call up a man called Kamal Khan to get it. One of the biggest criticisms I've heard of this film is that it is way overly complicated, and hopefully that last little blurb helps you guys understand why. For the number of times that I've seen this film, I, for the life of me, still don't follow all the stupid subplots that go on. Others say that a film like From Russia with Love is confusing, so I can't Octopussy. But the problem is that From Russia with Love is a film that literally showed the intricacies of spying and how good Bond is at it. That's the point of the film. This film is complicated just to be complicated, or it's just bad writing. Anyways, at the auction, Bond drives up the price of the real egg for Kamal Khan because, he's a douche, I guess, with Bond stealing the original. Bond finds out that Khan went to Delhi and is following to see why he wanted the egg so badly. Once reaching Delhi, Bond meets up with Vijay, one of Bond's best allies in the entire series. The way he meets up with him, though, well, it's almost as bad as when Jaws falls in love with Moonraker.
It's a charming tune.
To have an excuse to meet up with Khan, Bond goes to the casino and ends up challenging him in a game of backgammon. But before that, Bond at the casino has a conversation with a real-life British actress named Christina Wayborn, who is playing the role of Magda in Octopussy, which is my way of saying she sucks at acting, where Bond then plays and beats Khan by using Khan's loaded dice. We then get a great bike chase where Khan's henchmen go after Bond. Shocker, it is stupid, yet funny. Here's some of my favorite moments.
Step on it.
After a Q branch scene, which has a nice throwback to Goldfinger with its sexual harassment, Q puts a microphone into the egg, which Bond gives up to Magda that night when they, well, get it on. We then get probably my favorite moment from Roger Moore in the entire series at dinner
The
that
price
night.
of eggs was going up, but isn't that a little high?
Charge it to, room?
Oh, 27. Along with the champagne, I suppose.
I absolutely love this scene because it combines everything that I think is great about Roger Moore as Bond. He's smooth as hell, he's caring, but I think more than any other actor by far, he seems like a genuine human being that's just doing his job, getting along, being his own kind of guy. I really do believe that the film Bond, and I know the book Bond is different, but the film Bond is actually a somewhat thoughtful person who acts for Queen and country, like that's his creed. And I think more than any other moment, maybe in the series, it comes out right here. He's a natural flirt, but by saying these lines almost to himself, it shows his jovial nature as well as how damn slick he is. Basically what I'm saying is that right here shows why Roger Moore is so damn lovable. Anyways, we find out Magna belongs to a cult called Octopussy when Bond is captured by Khan's henchmen and brought to Khan's fortress. Khan goes and meets up with the head of Magda's Octopussy organization, whose name is, well, Octopussy. Octopussy, for some reason, wants to meet Bond, whereas Khan wants to kill him. The next night, Bond, after a really passive-aggressive dinner with Khan, where Khan basically describes all the ways he knows how to torture people, Bond escapes from his cell, which, besides begging the question, why does the metal bend, leads to Bond uncovering the reason Khan and Orlov have for wanting the egg so bad. Khan, in exchange for giving Orlov fake jewelry, gets real jewelry from Orlov. Now, if you've never seen this movie before, it makes no sense because, well, this movie just doesn't make sense, but more or less, we later find out that Khan gets the real jewelry in exchange for Octopussy's circus, which will be where Orlov will later plant a bomb. Why? Well, I guess we'll find out later. What I hate about this film is how they deliver all this information in piecemeal, which would be fine if it made sense, but it is so incoherent that the rest of the film just becomes very difficult to follow from this point forward. Bond escapes in a scene which feels like Live and Let Die on crack, and I'll just say this about this segment. It's stupid as hell, but I fucking love it.
Good. Let the sport commence.
Sit.
Like, who greenlit this shit? We also get the most obvious set design in the entire series if you look very closely right around here. I think this scene just basically sums up the whole glorious stupidity of the entire film.
Mr. Bond is indeed a very rare breed, soon to be made extinct.
Oh, piss off, you overacting ass. Like, look, even the henchman wants to shoot him at this moment. Bond, after again taking the series to a new low for the third time in the past 5 minutes with his latest disguise, meets this film's Bond girl, Octopussy, arguably the best one in the entire Moore era, and I think probably the best character in the film. Now, there's a whole subplot here about how they know each other, which doesn't matter, so I'll just skip it, it's confusing. But I do have to commend Maud Adams for how she plays this role. She really matches well with Moore as a more mature, strong person, and this chemistry I think is just awesome. I thought her character was weak in Golden Gun, so I'm glad she got a badass role here. Just one quick thing before we move on here.
Mr. Bond, smuggling is no concern of the Secret Service. I've violated no British law.
Wouldn't smuggling by its very nature break British law, assuming of course some part of it takes place in Britain or NATO? Well, you know what, hey, who am I to get technical with a film called Octopussy, for God's sakes? Anywho, Bond gets some, well, Octopussy, finding out that she runs circuses and smuggling, before Kamal Khan sends some henchmen after Bond in one of my favorite fight scenes in the Moore era. Oh, another part of me being an ass in reviewing this, when Khan bribes the henchmen, why are they so against it when he gives them one ambiguous bag of coins? But damn it, when they get two, they frickin' sell their soul to him. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna start a count of every stupid thing in this film. You have the My Little Octopussy quote. Everything in the jungle scene. Bond's one-liner.
Very rare breed.
Bond's crocodile disguise. And now this. We're at 5 now, people. Think of this as a drinking game. VJ gets killed, which is the same because, a lot like Luigi in Fear Eyes Only, he was a really great ally who just didn't get enough screen time, in my opinion. It's really interesting how all of Moore's allies seem to die, though. We then move into what I think is really the final act of this film in the last 45 minutes. Bond going to the circuses to discover what the hell is going on. During a great knife-throwing scene, Bond sneaks around using the old hide-behind-the-fat-guy trick, where he sees Octopussy, Khan, and General Orlov together. What transpires next is arguably the most confusing sequence of events in the entire series, so I'm going to try my best here. Bond sees the evil gang loading up something into a separate cubby on a train, which holds prized Soviet jewels for Octopussy to smuggle. The Soviets at the same time find out that Orlov has stolen them. Bond follows the cubby into a tunnel where it is switched out for a replica which holds a bomb in place of the jewels, with its destination being West Germany. Bond goes and kills one of the knife-wielding brothers who is stealing the jewels for Orlov and Khan, taking his costume. A lot of plot summary, I know, but Bond captures Orlov as he comes for the jewels, where Orlov explains that when the bomb goes off in West Germany, there will be a unilateral disarmament in the Western Bloc, which basically is going to leave them open for invasion. Which is fucking stupid, because Gogol earlier said that the Soviet military is designed solely for defense, so they wouldn't invade, and the president at the time is Reagan, and he's the one who wants to build an anti-military laser in space, which is going to be called Star Wars. So disarmament just wouldn't happen, plus you have Margaret Thatcher. So this entire plot is stupid. Damn it, number 7. But this is at least partially forgiven by the awesome car chase that we get as Bond escapes the area. Having him dive onto a train track basically with his car was a very clever little touch, and it is the small silly things like this that make me enjoy this film so much, even though I am bagging on it a lot. By doing this, Bond catches up to the main train and enters the room with a bomb in it. Gogol discovers the car Bond was driving with the jewels on board, where Gogol finds out that Orlov is going to the border. We then get one of my favorite scenes in the film as Orlov tries to cross and gets killed. What I really like about it is that it shows just how blindly dedicated he was to destroying the West and getting his mission done. And even though he must have known that by running across the border he's going to get shot, he does it anyways because he's, kind of crazy. People, including myself, say that the actor overacts in this film, but I think it sort of matches the ludicrous bombasticism of Orlov as a character. He's demented, he's pretty much a sociopath, and I think that is what makes him clearly the best villain in the film, but also one of the better in the series, and it's just a shame that Khan really overshadows him, and that an early death of this character also takes away a lot from him. Also, his last line in Shot of the Train just perfectly sum up the situation, distress of the situation. I genuinely think that there is great directing here. Meanwhile, on board the train, the gang sets the timer for the bomb as Bond spies in a gorilla costume. Kill me. But to balance this, we're getting just a fantastic sequence of Bond on top of and around the train. I've discussed these before in some very old videos, but more or less, it's really cool because it actually feels believable. A lot of the Bond stunts just seem insane, but you could actually see this happening, and that is what makes it that much more exciting. We then get what I think is just another awesome sequence, and it's the battle between Bond, the Indian assassin, and eventually the Knife Brother. What I particularly want to point out, though, is when Bond and the Knife Brother get thrown off the train, I just really like the throwback it has to earlier in the film with 009 getting killed in the clown costume. It's just a really clever use of the situation to make an interesting showdown between Bond and the brother, and of course the music right here is perfect as well. Bond, because you know, why the hell not, steals a woman's car after she won't let him use a phone booth, and what proceeds is one of my favorite sequences in the entire series. Khan and his henchmen leave the circus as Bond shows up with a small platoon of cop cars chasing him. People bag on this next bit as just mind-bogglingly stupid, even for a Bond film, and that is correct. But I think the fact that this scene is actually intense is a testament to the Bond series, which was self-aware enough at this time that it knew it could have fun with it all. I love this film, and it's shit like this that I think that it's just awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
your attention.
is anyone else in there?
A red-defined human cannonball. I have the pleasure in presenting to you Francisco de Fairley.
Let go! Damn it! Let go! We need some help! Let me go! Damn it! There's a bomb in there! Quiet, everyone! Quiet!
Not gonna lie, I was actually biting my nails this scene, so that has to be worth something. We then get the final invasion on Khan, which I could do the counter for, but I think it speaks for itself here. Q, Bond, and Octopussy invade Khan's fortress when Khan takes Octopussy hostage in a plane, but not before uttering maybe the best, most awkward line in the entire film.
Be killed along with thousands of innocent people.
Octopussy. Octopussy.
God, this film is so bad, I love it. What has always confused me about this part of the film is how the lighting changes. Presumably, it is early in the morning, around 6:45, according to Bond's watch, which makes the lighting make sense at the beginning, but why the hell would Khan be leaving the palace at dawn instead of at night? And why are all the guys drinking and trying to get laid at the ass crack in the morning? I think it's just... I'm looking too much into this. Anywho, Khan and Octopussy get on a small plane, which Bond gets into by holding onto the back of the plane. I love this scene because it's just absolutely insane on so many levels, and the fact that Khan actually sends out his henchmen to get Bond is so bloody stupid that the fact that they even wrote it in is just, it doesn't make sense. Even the henchman thinks it's freaking retarded. The henchman dies in a pretty unsatisfactory death, if I can say that. Bond and Octopussy escape the plane, and Khan crashes to his death. One more thing to nitpick. When Bond and Octopussy go out of the plane, when the first shot of them is shown, Bond seems to be pretty relaxed holding on to Octopussy. Then they zoom in, and his arm is like fully extended. It makes no sense. Wait, what was that? It's a movie, and I need to stop overanalyzing it? Well, fine. Suit yourself. Just trying to be, helpful. Bond and Octopussy get it on because that's how seemingly every Bond film ends. And yeah, gang, that was a movie that was written, produced, directed, and actually put out in theaters. That was Octopussy.
But tomorrow, I shall be a hero of the Soviet Union.
I know I say this every time I review a Bond film, but Octopussy might be the hardest one to pin down because on one hand, with the exception of a few films to come, this might be the worst film objectively in the series, but by the same token, it's also one of the funnest. So let's look at both. As an objective film, it makes little sense, as I hopefully made clear throughout. A lot of the directing and the shots don't go together well, and the actual villain literally had no chance of succeeding. Like, you really think the Soviets, who didn't have a real leader at the time, would invade a Thatcher-Reagan West. But besides that, though, I think the biggest problem was that the film tries so hard to be clever, but a lot of what happens is either extremely obvious, such as Orlov clearly being in it for himself, or just stupid, like the entire clown sequence. Even though, granted, I do enjoy that scene. People often ask, how can you say a film is objectively good or bad? And my criteria is simply this. Does it tell a story about someone or something? How does it do it? And does it do it well? And for me, this is a story about a man trying to stop a Soviet from setting off a bomb, but it's told in the most convoluted way possible that it's hard for many to realize that at the crux, this is a film about Orlov and Bond, not Khan and Octopussy, which is what it became. So yes, objectively, it is a mess. But my English teacher always says to look for the good in things when grading them, not dinging the bad. And for me, the good that this film has more than outweighs the mistakes of this film. More so than any Bond film until the Brosnan era, this film is fun. Many other reviewers and myself say that this is the Tomorrow Never Dies in the Moore era, and I think that's a perfect description. Sure, it's weak as a film, but as entertainment, it's perfect. And besides not only the pre-title sequence, the theme song, and the subsequent score, the absurd characters, and just crazy action sequence, besides all those things, those stupid scenes that I pointed out, it's those more than anything else I think gives this film its charm. My beef with Fear Eyes Only is that it is, a fine film, but there's really nothing memorable about it. Octopussy has one great scene after another, and it is this more than anything else that I love about this film. Now, you may say that that is a bunch of bullshit, and that's not a reason to support a film, but let's think about that. Bond films were designed to be escapism, and that is what this film offers more than anything else. Roger Moore is a charming bastard, and I think that this might be the best performance in the series. The plot is stupid, but funny, and damn it, this film plays to the audience so well, it's great. Like, really, you named a film Octopussy at the same time that Connery was coming out with his own Bond film. That's called balls, people. That is what makes this film great, and damn it has so many ridiculous things, but damn it, it works. So overall, this film is bizarre. It makes little sense, but it's exactly what I want out of a film in general. Entertainment. You can only watch this film if you have the right state of mind, but if you do, it'll become one of your favorite Bond films. But you have to realize this film is a joke, so treat it as such. Speaking of jokes, next time we get to what I think is the most bizarre film in the series, and probably the film that goes way too far overall, A View to a Kill. God, that review's just gonna be a grind, people. So what do you guys think about Octopussy? How much shit do you think this series would get if it was released today? Whatever it may be, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
You might say.
Ciao.
How lovely. You have a nasty habit of surviving.
Well, you know what they say about the fittest?